A strange thing started happening inside the British royal family. The future King of England kept appearing at royal events. But somehow, his younger sister kept becoming the story. Then headlines exploded across the internet claiming Princess Charlotte was reportedly worth between $4 billion and $5 billion in commercial influence, sometimes estimated higher than Prince George himself. And that stunned people. Because George is the heir. The crown is supposed to revolve around him. Yet suddenly the younger sister standing beside him during ceremonies, funerals, balcony appearances, and royal tours kept dominating public attention instead. And once people noticed the difference between them, they could not stop watching. At first, it looked insignificant. Princess Charlotte appeared wearing a blue dress during a public event. Then parents across Britain reportedly rushed online searching for the exact same outfit. A cardigan sold out. Then shoes. Then hair bows. Then children's dresses connected to her public appearances started disappearing from stores repeatedly. Retail analysts eventually called it the Charlotte effect. And the numbers became enormous. Several brand valuation studies and media estimates throughout the late 2010s and early 2020s reportedly placed Charlotte's long-term commercial influence around $4 billion to over $5 billion through associated fashion and consumer spending trends. That was the moment people started comparing her directly against Prince George. And suddenly the story became irresistible. Because George is the future king. Yet Charlotte kept generating stronger public reactions. Even photographers began noticing it during events. Cameras repeatedly stayed on Charlotte because audiences reacted instantly to her expressions, reactions, and interactions with her brothers. And the more public attention shifted toward her, the more fascinating the royal dynamic became. Then came Queen Elizabeth II's funeral in 2022. The entire world was watching the royal family. And during one small moment caught on camera, Charlotte reportedly reminded Prince George about royal protocol before greeting crowds. That clip exploded online almost instantly. Because people suddenly noticed something emotionally interesting happening between the two children. George looked serious, measured, careful. Charlotte looked composed, relaxed, almost protective toward her older brother. And the internet reacted immediately. Then more moments resurfaced online. Charlotte confidently waving at crowds. Charlotte correcting Prince Louis during ceremonies. Charlotte appearing unexpectedly comfortable around photographers and massive global attention despite still being very young. And slowly, a new public narrative started forming. George looked like someone carrying enormous pressure. Charlotte looked like someone adapting naturally to public life. That contrast fascinated audiences everywhere. Because people were no longer simply watching royal children. They were watching two very different futures unfolding inside the same family. The deeper royal watchers analyzed the children, the more another difference became impossible to ignore. George and Charlotte were not growing up under the same emotional weight. From the moment Prince George was born, the world treated him differently. He is the future king after Prince William. Every appearance already carries the future of the monarchy attached to it. Royal experts repeatedly discussed how Prince William understood that pressure personally because he experienced the exact same thing growing up. And audiences can already see the effect on George. He often appears quieter during public appearances. More cautious. More controlled. People analyze the way he walks, reacts, smiles, and behaves because one day he will inherit the crown itself. Charlotte's upbringing appears noticeably freer. Still disciplined. Still royal. Still heavily protected. But emotionally lighter. And that difference became obvious during public events over the years. Charlotte often interacted naturally with crowds, cameras, and family members without appearing overwhelmed by the moment. She frequently looked more relaxed than George during ceremonies despite being younger. Even royal commentators began comparing her confidence to Princess Anne and Queen Elizabeth, calm, composed, and unexpectedly strong in public settings. That contrast became one of the biggest reasons audiences connected to Charlotte so quickly. George often looked aware the world was judging him. Charlotte often looked like she forgot the cameras were there. And modern audiences instinctively respond to people who appear natural under pressure. The reason this story exploded globally goes far beyond royal wealth. People became obsessed because they immediately understood the human tension inside it. The future king was supposed to dominate attention. Instead, the younger sister unexpectedly became the breakout star. And people relate to that dynamic instantly. Families understand it. Schools understand it. Workplaces understand it. Sometimes the person standing quietly beside that main character unexpectedly becomes the one everyone notices most. That emotional reality made the Charlotte story impossible for the media to ignore. Every interaction between George and Charlotte suddenly became interesting because audiences could visibly see the contrast between them growing stronger over time. One child carrying the future of the monarchy on his shoulders. The other moving through royal life with surprising ease and confidence. And somehow, that contrast became more fascinating than the institution itself. Because for centuries, royal power was supposed to flow through hierarchy. Yet suddenly millions of people around the world seemed more emotionally drawn to personality. And that completely changed the way people started looking at the next generation of royals. And maybe that is why the Princess Charlotte story became impossible to ignore, because in today's world, attention no longer belongs automatically to the person closest to the throne, and here on Tilt and Chill, we'll continue exploring the fascinating human stories where power, pressure, family, and personality collide in ways nobody expects.